The 5x5 program. This is probably one of the programs that I hear the most about, I get the most questions about, and today I'm going to explain why simply it just does not work. So, first, we're going to be breaking down. It's 25 total reps in the 5x5 program. I believe that there is so many more better ways to get to 25 total reps than doing 5x5, right? I would say that any of these, so these are just saying that you're just doing, just writing down one amount of reps, right? You're not doing different rep schemes. You're just doing a certain amount of reps. I would say a 2x12, right? This is 24 reps, but I would say a 2x12 is much more beneficial than a 5x5. Why? Because I say it's more like if you're doing a 2x12, this is more tricep hammering, right? I mean, you're killing your triceps. It's hard to even find a weight that you could do a 2x12 on, but I would still say it's more working of your triceps, and it works just more stamina and fatigue than just doing like a 5x5 because that's such a weird number. And then we have a 3x8 written down, also 24 reps, but I would say 3x8 is doing the same thing, right? You're finding that next level of fatigue, that next level of stamina, and I think that's a much better way to get to that 25 total reps. Now, a 1x25, this is something that I have done before as a finisher, and I would say that this is even better than doing a 5x5, just going in and doing a 1x25 because everything's going to be burning by the end of this. Your chest, your triceps. I mean, part of your shoulders will probably be on fire when you're done with a 1x25, but there's much better ways to get to 25 total reps, and what's even better than doing this is doing something like this 25 reps broken up. Now, as you can see, all of these don't equal exactly 25 reps. Some may be 24, some maybe 26. I'm not 100% sure. But if we look at some more beginner programs, right? 5x5 typically is looked at as a beginner thing, right? They're like, oh, we'll do a 5x5. That's the last thing I would agree to do. Do one of these instead, right? So if we're looking at really beginner level person, we're doing two rep ranges, a 1x4 to a 3x7. The reason I'm having, if you look at all these first numbers, we have a 1x4, 1x2, 1x1, 1x3. If you see that this all starts with a 1, the reason I would say this is because even if you are a beginner, you still want to get some heavy weight, right? While heavyweight may not be the most optimal for like growth and stuff like that, it's actually teaching you the form of the bench, right? It's teaching you the heavyweight. You're learning how to adapt to heavyweight, right? And so then once you're done with your heavyweight that we have right here, then once we jump over just to these top two, then we have the more fatiguing sets, right? A 3x7. Now this is even another one that I'd say it's a little bit hard to find the proper, I guess, like rep range for yourself or weight for yourself when you're doing a 3x7, but it's much more fatigue. You're working much more on breaking down the muscle compared to just doing like a weird 5x5, right? And then after your 1x2, a 4x6 is another one kind of hard to find the weight on, but it still works and you can still do it and get more of a fatiguing approach, like trying to wear out your triceps instead of finding in between being strong and working on getting like fatigued, you know what I'm saying? But then we work into more of my favorite, which is right here. This is like three rep ranges, right? Three rep ranges a day is honestly my favorite idea for coaching, for programming, whatever. This is probably a little bit more advanced, right? Because you're working three rep ranges here. But typically for me, I really like the way that this top one looks right here. So I do a top set, a 1x1. This is working on my form. This is working on a heavy weight. This is feeling a heavy weight. After my 1x1, I do a 1x5 at a weight that like I normally get. I typically know in the back of my head, like for 5, or I probably do 405, right, for a back down. Then I do a 405. And I do my 3x6. So after my 405, I'll probably be like 3x6. Let's go 365, right? And I'd still have enough for it. Doing something like this is much easier for you to judge the weight on. And you're able to judge the weight almost 100% compared to doing like a 5x5 where it's almost impossible to find what weight you're going to be using, right? I mean, even a 4x6, it would be really difficult to find that weight that you're using. With a 3x6, after doing a 1x1 and a 1x5, you'll probably have a better scale of where you're at. Now, if we go down to something like here, which is probably like more off season work, 1x3, right? So you're gonna know what your 3 rep is. Then 1x8, typically in my head, like after lifting enough, I can know what I could do for 8 reps, right? I'd probably assume right now I could do 385 for 8. And then after that 385 for 8 kills me, I do like a 1 by 10 to 15. 1 by 10 to 15. I just put 12 here because I don't know. But if I had to pick, I'd probably go like, so for my 1 by 3, I'd go like 440 for 3. For 8, I'd do 365 for 8. And then for my 1 by 10 to 15, I'd do 335, right? I love breaking it up into 3 different rep schemes compared to 2, but 2 is still better than 1. Up next, a 5 by 5 doesn't last. For someone like me, if I wanted to do a 5 by 5, it wouldn't work. Period. Like, I would not be able to progressively overload this. My first day doing the 5 by 5, I'm guessing I'd do 365. The second day, I'm guessing I would do 380. And then the third day, so like, right, we're running, saying that this is week. So this would be week 1, week 2, week 3. I'm guessing maybe I could do 395. I've been benching for 5 years now, and I'm guessing what I would do on a week 1. That tells you that I don't know much about this rep range, right? It's hard to learn about yourself doing a 5 by 5. But after I did these 3 weeks, and I'd probably grind this 395 out at RPE 10, I'd be done. I couldn't add more weight. I couldn't go back to week 1 and go 370 and then go 385 and then go 400. Like, I couldn't do that. I probably couldn't do it. I probably would fail 400, and I'd just be wasting my 3 weeks of my time. I would literally waste 3 weeks of my time if I tried to add 5 pounds to this after successfully doing one block of it. So a 5 by 5 won't last. But you're like, okay, so that's you, right? That's you. You're pressing damn near 500 pounds. Well, but I'm a beginner. It still won't last for a beginner. For a beginner, it may work a little bit longer than for me, right? You may get more than one block out of it, but it's not going to last very long for you, right? So 135 for 5, if you're guessing, 145, and you end up at 155 for 5. Perfect, right? It works. Now jumping into another block of it, right? So this is 3 weeks, then you go into another 3 weeks of it, you add 5 pounds and you get it done, right? You get 140, you get 150, you get 160, and you get it done for your 5 by 5. But for the next week, I guarantee you that if you're able to go 145, 155, 165, and you hit them all, well, I guarantee you, A, you weren't going hard enough in the previous weeks, or B, you're done there too, right? So you're done. You're not getting more than 3 weeks just doing a 5 by 5, right? You're not getting more than 6 weeks doing a 5 by 5. So there's no reason to do it, right? You're not exactly really getting stronger. And if you're a beginner, there's so many ways to get way stronger than 5 pounds on your 5 by 5 in 6 weeks. You know what I'm saying? There's so many more ways out there, right? So if we go back to, whatever, I can't even go back. But if we go back to what I was saying about using 3 different rep schemes, that would blow up your bench by probably, in 6 weeks, that'll probably put 20 pounds on your bench compared to this, where you wouldn't be able to even test a 1 rep max after this. You have to ease into a 1 rep max. So you add 5 pounds on your 5 by 5 after 6 weeks when you're a beginner, and that probably would happen anyways. No point, right? Mix rep ranges. This is what I've been saying. 5 reps is an interesting number. Now, it's not saying that you shouldn't do 5 reps, right? It should be done, but not for 5 sets. Because how do you judge your strength after the first 3 sets, right? Because doing 5 reps is like a very interesting one for me. I like sets of 5 because it's hard for me to figure out like where I'm at on it, and it makes me push sometimes a lot harder, but it's impossible almost to judge like how much weight you're able to do for a 5 by 5. Now, if you're changing the weight, right, you're doing a 2 by 5 and then you're taking some weight off and doing a 3 by 5, that's different. That's different than even a 5 by 5, but even still that won't last you super long. The reason 5 reps is an interesting number is it's not exactly high reps. You're not like burning your triceps, your chest, everything else, but it's not low reps either. So it's a very interesting number. And this is the reason I do it as more of a back down, not a top set. If you're doing top sets of 5, well, honestly, if you never go down to below 3, like a top set for a set of 3 or less, you're probably never going to have like a good 1 rep max because you're just so working on like this weird number that doesn't matter in the end if you're a power lifter. But how did 5 by 5 become so known? It's literally simple. Somebody wrote down 5 sets of 5 reps. It's so simple, right? It's so simple. And a lot of people do like it because it's a mix of form work, right? So, like, if you're doing 5 reps, I'd say that's a little bit of form, and rep work, which is also doing 5 sets is form work, 5 reps is rep work. But instead of that, break it down. If you want form work, do a 5 sets of 3 because you're able to judge where you're at much more on that compared to 5 reps, right? Because it's 2 more reps per set, right? You have to add another 10 reps to that. If you want to work on form, do a 5 by 2, do a 5 by 1, do a 5 by 3. Don't do a 5 by 5. If you want mix of rep work, same thing. Do a 3 by 10, do a 2 by 8, do a 2 by 12, whatever. Get the rep work in. Pick which one you want to do, though. You can't exactly focus on both. And so, like I said, instead of that, break it down. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Hopefully it helped you. My email's down below. I do coaching. This is some stuff that I talk about with my athletes. I ask them, get some feedback back. Instagram's listed here too. Go ahead, follow me on there. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next. Until next time, Blake, sign out. Peace.